What's up guys, it's Wasabi and I'm back with another review. Shure sent me this microphone quite some time ago and I'm excited to share my thoughts and experiences with you on the product. And today we have the Shure MV7 and this one comes bundled with a mini tripod. Now here's a quick look at the packaging because that's what you pay for too. Inside the box you got your quick start guide. It has all the information you need to get started with this microphone, setup, what the controls on the microphone do, and it also explains the different modes on the app that you will use with this microphone. It comes with a little card to remind you that you can download the app for this microphone on their website. Of course, you have the Shure MV7 and this thing feels very solid and very well built. As you can see, because this is a hybrid microphone, it has both the XLR and a micro USB input. The buttons on the MV7 are all touch sensitive. You got this button to toggle between your microphone and your headphone, and the mute button is right over here. All levels are displayed on the lights right here, but I'll get more into that later. And by the way, this thing feels pretty heavy for a microphone. On my weighing scale, it comes in at just about 560 grams. You can loosen or tighten the screws on the side of the microphone to adjust its position. And the MV7 has a removable windscreen foam cover. Here's a closer look at what's on the inside. I would say that this mic looks amazing. In the other box, you got two sets of cables. The first one you have is a micro USB to USB-A cable, and you also get a micro USB to USB-C cable. And both of these cables are about 10 feet long. And because this is a podcast bundle, you get the mini tripod included with the microphone. And the quality of this mini tripod is really good and screws in securely with the microphone. If you have a setup that doesn't work with a boom arm, then having a tripod like this is especially useful for this microphone. And that's pretty much all that's included inside the box. Now before we go any further, let's manage some expectations here. Shure is a pretty big company and they've been around since, well, historically since 1925, and they are known to make some seriously good quality audio products. If you're a gamer, streamer, or perhaps a content creator, the two microphones you would have came across with this brand are the SM7B, which comes at a very hefty price, but of course you pay for the quality, and the MV7 that we have today, which I have been using for my production with my more recent videos. So this review is coming from, well, a gamer and a content creator, and I am no audio professional by any means, but perhaps this review would be a lot more relatable to the casual consumer who is considering a quality mic for their setup. The Shure MV7 that we have today came in the podcast bundle and it comes with a mini tripod, and this is going for $269. Absolutely love the design of this microphone. Just like the bigger brother, the SM7B, this mic looks all business and no RGBs or cheap plastic materials. It feels as solid as it looks. Now this mic does not have any RGBs or anything like that, which is what I appreciate about it. As a gamer and content creator, I don't exactly want RGBs on my microphone, but that's purely a personal thing because I find it pretty distracting to have an RGB mic in my peripheral vision when I game. So having a clean professional design like this fits very well on any setup, and if you shoot your content or stream with your mic in frame, I personally think it looks very good. Build quality on this thing is impressive. It puts a smile on my face because with products these days, quality is kind of hit or miss with most things. This mic feels so solid in the hand and there's a significant weight to it, and it feels like it's made to last a very long time. Although I have to say that this windscreen foam cover is a bit of a bummer, and it's nothing to do with the way it looks, but more of how it performs and handles plosives. With my experience after recording a couple of videos, I don't feel that this windscreen foam cover handles plosives very well. I have to say that this is my first experience using a dynamic microphone like this, and it's been quite an interesting change compared to condensers. The MV7 is great at picking up your voice, and I noticed that there is a lot less white noise and room tone, so what you get are clear recordings, but this is not to say that it blocks out every noise in your house. When it comes to microphones, you should always try to record in a suitable environment, but so far I've been recording in a relatively open space without any soundproofing or acoustic treatment. Of course, a room would be much preferred, but so far this mic has been handling things just fine. When it rains outside, I can still hear the rain pretty loud on the recording, so don't use this mic expecting complete noise cancellation. What I like about this mic is that I get clean recordings that sound very natural, and from there I can use whatever software to tweak the EQ and adjust it the way I like in post-production. The noise cancellation with my experience is pretty average. Recording in an isolated environment is great, but just don't expect the mic to eliminate all the noises in your environment. I feel that it does a great job at picking up my voice, but I have a PC right next to me and I'm up against the wall, so it does pick up a little bit of the fan noise in my recording. The biggest issue I have with the MV7 is how sensitive it is to plosives. So how sensitive are plosives? Well, I'm gonna give you an example and I'm gonna speak directly into the microphone, okay? So 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4. Plosives are what bothers me when I do my recordings. So what I do to work around plosives is to not have the microphone right in front of me when my voice is being projected, but still having the microphone pointed to my mouth. So if I move it right here, it's just pointing upwards towards my mouth and I'm speaking forward. So let's try again, but this time with the microphone in a different position. So 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4. And with that said, you gotta be careful with how close your mouth is to the microphone. And I would say that the windscreen phone cover isn't very good at handling plosives. A lot of times I noticed there's been a lot of plosives in my recordings, so you gotta really adjust where you position your microphone. On the bright side, because this microphone has been on the market for quite some time now, you can look to replace the windscreen foam cover with some third-party options that can help with plosives. Controls on the MV7 are relatively easy to use. They are all touch sensitive. Over here, we have the mute button, and when it's on mute, the light indicator is on. Just be sure that this light's off when you're recording, because I've recorded full segments of my videos and only to realize that my microphone was on mute. Over here, there's a touch sensitive slider that lets you increase or decrease the gain levels. And you got a microphone and headphone toggle button right here. To lock your controls, just press and hold the mute button and the toggle button. To adjust your monitor mix, just press and hold this button right here for 2 seconds, and from there you can adjust your levels with the slider. Now here's a quick sound test with the acoustic guitar just to give you a better idea of what this sounds like if you plan to use it for music. So the Shure MV7 is what they call a hybrid microphone because it has both the USB and XLR connection. The USB mode only works with a micro USB cable, which sounds like a bummer to most people in 2024. And something to note is that the Shure MOTIV app can only be used while the MV7 is connected using the USB cable. You gotta be extra careful with the micro USB connection here, especially when you mount this on a boom arm and move it around. And that's because the micro USB connection point, which is this right here, I'm not sure if you can see it, bends very easily and will break. In my opinion, this is really the weakest part of the design, so just remember to be extra careful. I am now on my second micro USB cable because this first one was bent beyond recognition. It's very easy to get the MV7 set up, and that's what I love about this microphone. When I use the MV7, it's pretty much mounted on the arm all the time, and I unplug the USB connection when I'm not using it. And when I want to record again, I just plug the USB connection back in the MV7, and I just go on with my day because all the settings are already saved from my previous session. I've been using the MV7 as my main microphone alongside with my mirrorless camera, and it makes the workflow so simple with such an easy plug and play experience from this mic. When it comes to the app, the software is very simple to use. You have auto level mode, which basically lets you choose between how near or how far you place your microphone, and it lets you decide between 3 different tones. You have dark, neutral, and bright. So I've been using auto level mode for most of my recordings, and I would use manual mode for specific scenes. For example, I'll use the manual mode for scenes like this when I'm doing a sound test for gaming peripherals. Auto level mode works incredibly well for me, and I would say that a lot of new creators will appreciate the performance and simplicity of it. It just works great. But don't get me wrong, this does not mean that you'll get perfect audio in any environment. You still have to make sure that you're recording in a quiet space. And another thing is that you can adjust some settings manually with the touch controls on the microphone, but my recommendation would be to control the microphone on the app itself, as the touch controls do not feel as fast or responsive in my experience. So switching to a dynamic mic coming from condensers changed the way that I do my recordings. With the Shure MV7, it did take some time for me to get used to it, and that's purely because I have a habit of moving around a lot when I speak, and that makes my audio levels very inconsistent. So I had to train myself not to move too much or too far away from the microphone. On the bright side, when you maintain your position position while you speak to the microphone, recordings do sound really good. For most of my recordings, as I mentioned before, I've been using the auto level function set to far and with the tone set to natural. I find that it does an excellent job at optimizing the gain levels, and this saves me a lot of time working on the audio in post-production. I gotta say, I do love how the auto level mode makes things so simple and you get great quality recordings. This microphone may look a little intimidating for beginners, but it really is very easy to pick up, and with the USB connectivity and an incredibly user-friendly app, this makes it an easy recommendation. I also found that getting the bundle with the tripod to be very useful, because even when you already have a microphone arm like I do, you never know when, or maybe one day you might want to take this mic out with you when you travel and you want to do some recordings. So I feel that the tripod is a useful accessory to have in your kit. What I appreciate and find to be especially useful for people who are using a microphone like this for the first time is the quick start guide. It gets right to the point and has just the right amount of information to help anyone set up their microphone and understand the different modes with the MOTIV app. When I first got the MV7, I felt that it was a lot easier to set up compared to some of the other mics that I've used. For most people, just install the app, plug in your microphone and leave auto level on, and you're all set. And as a matter of fact, I'm using the auto level feature to record this video. So final thoughts and how I feel about the MV7. What I feel is excellent about a hybrid microphone like this is that you can start using this mic as a USB microphone. And after a couple of months or so, when you are ready to upgrade your setup with an audio interface and go with XLR, you already have a microphone that can work with that. The micro USB connection though, this is something that bothers me, and I feel like I have to be extra delicate with how I handle this mic. Also, the plosives are something that I have to be extra careful with too. But other than that, it's been a very solid experience for me. Now, the MV7 does not come cheap, but all I can say is that you get what you pay for. It's incredibly well built with a great design, and you can get some really good recordings in a decent environment. You don't need to be a professional to get a great experience out of this mic, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. A word of advice is to get Shure products from the official store or an authorized distributor, because there are a lot of imitations out there. And if the price is too good to be true, then that's because it probably is. I am very grateful to Shure for sending me the MV7. They are wonderful people to work with. Products are great, and I am glad to have this as part of my setup for my content production. So yeah, these are some of my thoughts and experiences with using the MV7 for my video production and gaming. If you want to hear more of what the MV7 sounds like, you can check out some of my more recent videos on my channel. But if not, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.